Konami Studios. I think it's safe to say this is probably my most anticipated Marvel book in a long time. Just because it's like the first time I think ever I was like, yeah, I cannot wait to read an Ironman book. So, the relaunch is here. The much needed relaunch at that. Like, say what you will about Dan Slott doing what he did on Tony Stark. Iron Man needed this so bad. He really needed this relaunch. And now he got it through one of my favorite writers currently at Marvel, Christopher Cantwell. So here it is, Iron Man #1, the much needed reboot of the character, and that's what it feels like. I really hate the term back to basics when it comes to like relaunching a comic book title, especially one as big as this, just because it's never basics. We're never doing the origin again of these characters, so it's not really back to basics. It's back to the things you liked. And that's kind of what this issue was. There's a huge idea here that Tony Stark is kind of unhappy and he wants to figure out what it was that made him happy originally. So he's trying to figure out, by retracing certain steps of his life, what he can do to get back to that place that made him feel good. So this book opens up and we have kind of a narration. Tony is talking to this man that we don't really know, and they're talking about like old cars or just vintage cars or important cars like that. I'm not a car guy, so I don't really know. But then there just becomes this idea like, oh, this one, it's nice, but it's a little too flashy or that. And as he's doing that, he is battling Terrax. So we know he's talking to a car guy later. Now he's battling Terrax, and during the battle of Terrax, he is like kind of a, I don't know what the term would be, but he's leaving the Stark Industries company, and he's getting, I don't know what you'd call it, but he's getting like $65 billion for leaving the company, and he's like investing like a third of that back into the stock market to build up the prices in other companies and all that. Just like, I'm distancing myself from this, what makes me happy. I kind of like that. It's a really interesting thing just because we spent this whole time with Tony. We did like the entire arc before this where it's like, yeah, he is a tech giant right now. There's some stuff about artificial intelligence playing a big role in the previous book. But now it's like, here's Tony. He's out of Stark Industries. He's going back to basics. He's getting rid of a lot of the armors. I think he gets Rhodey to pack up a couple of his armors. Like, I'm going back to what I need to be in order to kind of get myself back to being happy. Really interesting story for a character like Tony because you never really expect him being that smart. And it's just really fascinating stuff. And if you guys can't hear it, or if you do hear it, there is a power drill going on outside my window, so we'll see what happens there. But it's just really interesting. And a big part of this book too is Tony is on social media and he's just kind of like, he can't really catch a break. You know, he says one thing, people are like, oh, you did this, you're so dumb, Tony Stark sucks, your company is stupid, you left your company to find yourself, you got $65 billion. And the online community just hates him. So that's a really nice theme in this book too, where it's like Tony just can't have the support he used to. And it's weird because he's a $1 billion franchise character in the real world, and they're doing something in this book that's like, everyone knows he's a dick, nobody really likes him, which is exactly what Tony Stark should be as a character. I think that's very fascinating. It's just so interesting and cool. So then, you know, he's just he gets rid of his suits. He's not longer at the business, so he's just kind of figuring out what makes him happy, what he can do there. He gets a new car. It's an old car. I can't remember what kind of car it was. I'll put it up here with the picture of it. And he's like, I'm going to go into a street race just to feel alive. And holy cow, we got some characters looking like they're straight out of Fast and Furious. Tell me this guy does not look like Dom Toretto. That's amazing. So Tony races this like hotshot kid driver. He loses the race, but he's like, hey, no harm, no foul. I just wanted to feel something, see what I could catch my footing. The kid's got skill. I can't beat that. I'm not going to try to beat that. So Tony loses the race. He's just kind of sombering around doing whatever. And then it's just like, so he's going to throw a party. He's like, yeah, am I a New Yorker yet? I'm a full New Yorker. And the online community is like, dude, you just bought a rich car, you have billions of dollars, and you're hosting people with billions of dollars. You're not really a New Yorker, you're just a rich prick. I love this theme coming back in this book. This is the first time I felt Tony was a character in his own book, instead of just being like this really suave, cool Errol Flynn type, but for like the tech world. I really like that. And it's nice that we're getting that from the guy that did *Halt and Catch Fire*. Like, you can really tell he understands this world a little bit more than some of us other people. I don't want this to sound like a negative towards like comic writers or anything, but you could really tell in this book that Cantwell has worked on television before, just because the way the story flows, the way everything comes together, it's very comic book-esque and it works like a comic book, but it's also like, you could easily translate this script right to television. I think that's really cool stuff. So yes, Tony is hosting a party, just something to kind of take his mind off things and have fun there, but he is intercepted by Patsy Walker. You remember Hellcat? She's in this book too. They have a really nice moment where it's like, oh, finally, it's nice to see a fresh face, and they're just kind of having a nice moment. Tony wants to show her something, but is interrupted by this man who claims he can bottle lightning and use it as an energy effect, so we're going to see him come back in some capacity. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm very curious to see what that's going to be. I think it'll be very fun. And Tony's like, that's great, lightning's cool, but I want to go show Patsy something. It's like, okay, what are we going to do here? I was like, are we going to show her some weird technology thing Tony built or whatever? No, it's just a new suit. But it's like the most vintage looking suit for the modern era. It's got like the classic yellow in the yellow parts, the red in the red parts. It looks like a classic Iron Man suit, but it's modernized up thanks to Alex Ross and his amazing covers. They look fantastic. The art in this book too by Kefu, I think that's what their name is pronounced. Stellar. I'd put it on the same level as Immortal Hulk's artwork. It looks so good, so interesting. Thoroughly enjoyed the way the book looks. But Patsy's like, that's a nice suit, man. Like, that's great. What do you want to do with it? Why are you showing me this? So the two of them just kind of decide, oh, we'll just go out, have fun, fly around, do some stuff. So it's Iron Man and Hellcat teaming up, and they have a nice moment where Tony does reveal, like, I'm trying to find what makes me happy again. I don't know where I was, but doing all this stuff, it just kind of lost a part of me, and I want to be liked and loved, so I'm trying to get back to that area. And Patsy just puts the nail in the coffin, just like, I know, it's pretty obvious you're in a bad place, but you're also doing it for the wrong reasons. This, again, is all about your ego, something you are known for, Tony. Like, this isn't how you're going to fix yourself. You're not doing it for the right reasons. And before we can really, like, delve into that more, well, because we got a couple issues of this book coming out still, we see the unicorn is attacking a library and stealing a book. Do you guys remember the unicorn? I didn't. What a nice just thing to throw in there. I love it. And Unicorn's acting a little weird. He's talking like, I gotta get this to the other, and this book's so important. You're just a heretic for attacking me, Iron Man, and all that stuff. You're like, what's going on here? Something's a little strange here, and we get a classic Iron Man and Hellcat fight. It looks pretty cool. I liked seeing that. Tony and his redheads, man. I don't know why he keeps bringing them into this world, but he does. And it's pretty interesting. So, we take down the unicorn. He's like, you can't do this to me. We have to get the book to the other. It's like, what kind of Bible was it? It was like a very famous Bible that's used. There's like 21 copies, and now one was destroyed. So again, online, Tony's getting ridiculed for destroying a religious piece, a religious artifact, right? So now he's just like, oh, screw it. Deletes his Twitter account. I like that he's Iron_Man. Like, there's somebody that took the name Iron Man on Twitter before Tony, so he had to get the underscore. That's amazing. I bet you Tony locked himself out of another account that had Iron Man, so now he's Iron_Man. That's really cool. So we realize, okay, what's this book for? How's that going to come into play? I feel like that's going to be like the main focus of this book going forward, is like, okay, who is the unicorn working for? Are we going to see other classic Iron Man villains showing up, and how long is Patsy going to be in this book? But we see, as they're having this conversation, Tony is struck by lightning. Because, we kind of referenced it earlier, so we're kind of setting up that maybe this guy we met at the party earlier, who Tony kind of blew off to talk to Patsy, could be the one doing some stuff here. I think we might be setting that up, and if we are, kudos, because that's awesome. This book was great. I really just... You say you're going back to basics with Tony Stark. That is a big challenge to do, because there's just a lot of random stuff. It's like, okay, suits are gone. Yep, they're gone. No longer at Stark Industries, they're gone. You break up Jan and Tony in this issue with like 2 panels. I have a pitch for Jan. You guys can check it out in my Dream Avengers team video, so check that out after this if you guys want to. But it's like, you really are getting Tony back to basics. This is where he needed to go, and I think it's really cool. We're getting the classic villains, we're getting some classic team-ups, we're doing some classic stuff with Tony that's not the expanded family. Rhodey's hardly in it, we don't really see Pepper at all. So what's actually going to happen in this book, I'm very curious to see going forward, and it's very fun. This is where Marvel should be going. This is the direction they should be taking. Here's the stuff you like about the character. Here is literally going back to basics with him. That's it. It's like the one book I feel like actually lives up to here's back to basics. I think it's very good. So Cantwell's Iron Man, I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We will be doing Iron Man reviews for every issue of this book because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So you guys can catch me on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.